everybody, and welcome to a new episode of the Bleeding Metal podcast. Today, we have another episode of the Tuska Forum by Bleeding Metal recordings, and I am your host, Kiki, she, her, and I am joined by my co-host,
Pia, she, her. Hello.
Today, we are talking about artificial intelligence in music, which was the opening panel at the Tuska Forum this year in Helsinki. Are you excited about this one, Pia?
Yeah, of course, because the topic is all around. I think everybody is talking about artificial intelligence right now.
We should too.
Yes, and I also heard some interesting stuff like you can use the voice of Freddie Mercury and let that sing other songs, or you can use the voice of SpongeBob. I think that's what you also said in the panel. Yeah, and I think it gives musicians a lot of possibilities, especially to those who maybe are not multi-instrumentalists or are not so skilled in all the software with which you also can write guitar riffs and stuff like that. So I always think that tools like this are good for the people who are less privileged because they don't have specific knowledge or don't have access to knowledge or don't have the time to educate themselves with this complicated technical stuff, but are really creative. And for them, it's very good to have something to bring their ideas to life and then see where it leads them. So I think you will always need a person to give the input or to give some input. And in the end, for the song or for a song itself, it doesn't really matter if the guitar is made by Cubase or by a real guitar player. I think the benefit of people is when they are on stage.
Right.
And that's what I think, that it'll give a lot of interesting input to the whole industry with all the possibilities that come with artificial intelligence.
I know what you mean. I don't think that artificial intelligence is going to democratize music creation completely, because it does require that you have access to it, that you have access to a computer, internet, the knowledge of how to use the artificial intelligence tool. That was the purpose of the panel for me. This is why I brought the topic to the table and how I got Tuska CEO Eka super excited about this topic, because not only is everybody talking about it, there are two sides to this conversation. There are the people who are alarmed by artificial intelligence in general, or even technology in general, saying that it's going to steal our jobs and make humans absolutely obsolete and change things for the worse. And then there's the other side of the conversation, where people who have a little more calm and knowledge say artificial intelligence is absolutely revolutionizing all of the industries, more or less, but actually for the better, because it is taking away the tedious jobs that people have to deal with and giving us humans more time to actually be creative in a more inspired way. And artificial intelligence, specifically for music, should be a tool to make people more creative and give them new possibilities and not replace them, which is kind of the conclusion to which we arrived. But spoiler alert, you better listen for yourself. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tuska Forum by Bleeding Metal. I am Kiki. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the co-host and co-founder of the Bleeding Metal podcast. This session is going to be recorded live for the very first time that we're recording the podcast. It will air later on our feed, so do give us a follow if you want to listen to it later as well. And if you want to listen to any of the other sessions that we're going to have today and tomorrow, there's going to be a lot of interesting topics being discussed. So yeah, the link is up there in the corner. And before I start introducing the topic and the people around me down here, I will already also point to the QR code in the corner. You can scan that and submit your questions for the end of the session. I will remind you about that later. But yeah, take part in the discussion, and thank you so much for being here. I hope it's not just because the sun outside is too strong. Anyway, in the following 45 minutes, we will discuss the impact of artificial intelligence in the music industry, something that is already happening. And at the same time, we will implement the tools that are currently available live here with you. To create the main elements of a single, we are going to try, at least, to write a song, write lyrics for that song, and create cover art for it as well. I am surrounded by some young voices of metal that are here to discuss the future of metal with us in this sense. We have Death Grind Trio that combines an old school approach to music with youthful energy, quoting their Spotify bio. This time they are on stage without Alexi. Please welcome Osmo and Nico from Galvanizer. And in the middle here, this is an up-and-coming band that is still working on a debut album, if I'm correct. Yes. And Tuska has already recognized their strengths, so please welcome the Lunatics from Jyväskylä / The Smile. And on my right is our today's bot manager and another young musician. Do check out his project Leechcraft, Savvier Nelson. All right, so if we can watch the video, this is an AI-generated mashup of Ice Ice Baby and The Matrix.
Yo, VIP. Let's kick it.
Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby.
All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. Ice is back with my brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me tightly.
Flow like a harpoon daily and nightly.
Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Turn off the lights and I'll glow. To the extreme, I rock a mic like a vandal. Light up a stage and wax a chump like a candle. Damn.
Rush the speaker that booms. I'm killing your brain like a poisonous mushroom.
Deadly.
When I play a dope melody, anything less than the best is a felony. Love it or leave it, you better gangway. You better hit bullseye. The kid don't play.
If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it.
Check out the hook.
While my DJ revolves it.
Ice, ice, baby.
Vanilla.
Ice, ice, baby.
Vanilla. Ice, ice, baby. Vanilla.
Ice, ice, baby.
Vanilla.
Now that the party is jumping, with the bass kicked in and the Vegas are pumping, quick to the point, no faking. Cooking MCs like a pound of bacon. Burning if you ain't quick and nimble. I go crazy when I hear a cymbal and a hi-hat with a souped up tempo. I'm on a roll, it's time to go solo. Rolling in my 5.0, rag top down so my hair can blow. The girlie's on standby waiting to say hi.
Did you stop?
No, I just drove by, kept on, pursuing to the next stop. Busted a left and I'm heading to the next block. The block was dead, yo, so I continued to A1A, Beachfront Avenue.
Girls were hot wearing less than bikinis. Rockman lovers driving Lamborghinis.
Jealous.
Cause I'm out getting mine. Shay with a gauge and vanilla with a 9.
Ready for the chumps on the wall. The chumps acting ill cause they're full of 8-ball. Gunshots, rings out like a bell. I grabbed my 9, all I heard were shells falling on the concrete real fast. Jumped in my car, slammed on the gas, bumper to bumper. The avenue's packed. I'm trying to get away before the jackers jack.
Police on the scene, you know what I mean. They passed me up, confronted all the dope fiends.
If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ revolves it.
Ice, ice, baby.
Vanilla.
Ice, ice, baby.
Vanilla.
Ice, ice, baby.
Vanilla.
Ice, ice, baby.
Vanilla. Take heed, cause I'm a lyrical poet. Miami's on the scene, just in case you didn't know it.
My town that created all the bass sound.
Enough to shake and kick holes in the ground.
My style's like a chemical spale. These are rhymes you can vision and feel.
Conducted and formed is a hell of a concept. We make it hype.
And you want to step with this.
Shade plays on the fade, slice like a ninja, cut like a razor blade.
So fast, other DJs say, damn, if my rhyme was a drug, I'd sell it by the gram.
Keep my composure when it's time to get loose. Magnetized by the mic while I kick my juice. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while D-Shay revolves it.
Ice, ice, baby.
Vanilla.
Ice, ice, baby.
Vanilla.
Ice, baby.
Vanilla.
Ice, ice, baby.
Vanilla.
Yo, man, let's get out of here. Word to your mother.
Ice, ice, baby.
Ice, ice, baby.
Ice, ice, baby.
Right. That was not very metal, but, it's a classic for a reason. And as you can see, that is already what is happening now with the deepfakes and AI voice clones. But we'll get to that later. First of all, I want to start with my first question to the musicians over here. Music first or lyrics first? Nika, go ahead.
Music first. For me, at least.
All right.
Same for us as well. Usually the music comes first, but yeah, occasionally there might be some lyrics, but I think for us mostly it's music first. Yeah.
All right. We're going to go against that rule today, though, because we will try to, since we need to know what prompts to feed into or what kind of music we're going to be doing, I want to propose to go to the text first and try the lyrics first. Yes, thank you. Has anyone of you already used ChatGPT? What do you use it for?
Yeah, I work in marketing industry, so actually I use daily in the digital marketing field. So, we generate, ad copies and if we want to know if, we need to find from Korea the ship industry, what kind of companies there are, we can, search those companies and so on. So actually, I use it almost daily in my job, yeah.
Oh, that's great. How long have you been using it?
A couple of months, I think, mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's worked well for you.
Yeah. It's, it hasn't replaced anything, but it has made certainly some, part of my job so much faster. I don't have to kind of, when I have the blank paper, I can, get rid of that with the, ChatGPT and it makes, yeah.
Doing the research for you.
Yeah.
Doing the research, that's great. And Osmo, have you taken a look at it? No?
No, I have never used the ChatGPT, just we experimented with a couple of my friends as kind of like a joke with the visual art AI, like you feed in a couple of sentences and it creates, I think it was called Midjourney, if I recall right. Yeah. But not in any kind of serious artistic nature, just to try it out.
All right. There are a few other ways bands are using ChatGPT right now. Apparently it can also give you touring routes, tour schedules, and merch ideas as well. So there's that potential. Then we can go onwards to the lyrics don't exist. So we're going to generate the lyrics for our song. What should it be about? What are we making today?
Yes.
You guys go first.
Love is always a good one.
Never can go wrong with love. Yeah.
And for the genre, we have the choice of country, metal, rock, pop, rap, EDM.
You can select it.
Do we select one or several?
I think only one. And we're obviously going to go for metal, right?
Let's do a country song.
Sure.
Yes.
Let's break the pattern a little
bit. Yeah.
And then if it's a love song, it should be sad, though. If it's a country song, it has to be sad.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Okay.
Oh, very sad.
Generate the lyrics. Sunday, you say you love me. How you gonna know if this is real love? Oh, but a love so fine for one night and a day. And the chorus says, where is our love? Where is our love? None that love me like his love, because none that love me like his love. That is short. There is the possibility, if we scroll down to the bottom, to regenerate the lyrics. So are we happy with these, or do we make new ones?
I mean, can we make it a bit more dramatic?
You can copy those into ChatGPT and ask it to make them more dramatic. How would that be?
Yeah, let's do it.
A little less say love.
Yeah.
All over.
That's also something
It's like all over the place.
Yeah, that's something that caught my attention as well. Like when you insert the one word, like love, it starts repeating that word in every sentence, in every context.
Yeah.
Right. Those are all the limitations that AI has, right? And that is what we are all here as well to discuss and discover. Keeping in mind that there's also a lot of speculation right now, right? Is artificial intelligence here to replace all of us and such? So we will talk about that in a bit as well. What we already saw with the Ice Ice Baby mashup is that vocals still need a reference, though. So AI cannot yet, not yet at least, give us a vocal melody with just out of the blue with a voice that we select. You asked it to make it more dramatic.
Yes, the prompt for ChatGPT was, could you make these lyrics more dramatic? A gentle question, and then pasting the lyrics, what we just got, and now it has answered.
Ooh, the chorus looks better already. Where has our love vanished? Where has our love gone? None can adore me like his fervent love, for there is none who cherish me like his love. That sounds country.
Yeah, definitely, but it's still like it still keeps repeating the love,
right?
And it basically just chose stronger adjectives for that.
Yes.
Yeah, these are words that a normal country artist wouldn't know how to pronounce or know at all.
Hey, come on.
All right, let's ask again. I think you have to tell it to do it again, but repeat the word loveless. I'm not sure. I haven't used that much, to be honest.
Let's see what happens.
ChatGPT might know what we're looking for now. Now it's not in every line, but at least in every verse. Oh, and
it says a verb in the first sentence. Oh.
It left the dramatic out.
Yeah, now it's more like a plain language kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is something I've noticed many times. Like the kind of issue is that when you kind of try to have the conversation, it might not remember what you said earlier to it, and then it's just easier to generate it completely new. Just like make me a country song lyrics about love that are dramatic but don't have much repetition of word love, for example. So I've noticed that you might sometimes have to start it all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So basically, it forgets every prompt after you give a new one.
I mean, I think it shouldn't, but often it does.
Okay,
forget those.
Yeah, I think it should remember, but I've run into that as well, that it just doesn't remember what you just told them.
Yeah.
All right, should we move on to the music now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have tested, we have seen. It's not perfect, but would you use something like this, such prompts to create some lyrics if you're having a writer's block?
No.
I mean, I think I would kind of generate the ideas about, maybe not like give me the words, but if I, give me some kind of topics or whatever, maybe not straight lyrics from there, but, if I don't have anything in my mind, then it might, come some with new ideas and maybe there, my inspiration spark.
Right.
Yeah, maybe.
I would probably use it for a certain problematic line instead of, say, a whole chorus or a whole verse, and find inspiration through that, because the lyrics are often so tied into the instrumental and the vocal performance that if you try to force something that's made separately into a song, it just really doesn't carry the weight.
Yeah, and actually for that, it might be a good tool for if you want to express a certain thing, but for example, we have the problem here that it's repeating the word love. So if you want to find like ways to go around that, like euphemisms or metaphors or things like that, you could use that to find different adjectives or different ways of expressing the same thing. If you want to like play around a little bit. Because repetitive lyrics are boring usually.
Yes. And in the end of the day, we just asked the AI to make us a love song. Nothing more. So,
Sure. Let's start making music then. Since we didn't expect to that you would want to make a country song, we found the tool Gen. Do you want to explain it?
Could there be a country
there for sure, yes.
Thingy in Sounddraw?
There are many of these tools, and most of them are creating music already, especially in the pop and lo-fi genres that a lot of content creators on the internet are using for videos, etc. And it's supposed to be super easy. So these are the things that we can put in. The length, the tempo, the mood. And in some of them, we can also select the specific genre. Metal is usually not a possibility. So a fast country song.
Definitely fast.
How fast can we make it? 200 BPM?
Probably.
Can we make?
And here you can see some of the moods we can set it on. Let's see if we have something. Oh, here's genres.
Okay,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Do we have country?
Should we pick another one?
It's not.
There's no country. There's just acoustic music.
Seems. Well, how about one of these? I mean, drum and bass is pretty much country, isn't it? Right?
Close enough. Yeah.
What about acoustic?
But the dude in the picture of the acoustic music looks like a country dude.
Yeah, for sure,
Exactly. There we go.
Oh, something's happening.
It is creating already.
Yeah, there you go. It's creating.
So do we select the key where the song is from or just the genre? Or how specific can you go?
So right now our only filter is acoustic. You can see it at the bottom, at the top, I mean, the X next to it. And the length is set to 3 minutes and the tempo is set to fast, whatever that means in the program's definitions. Here's a list of instruments we can. Well, everything is selected right now, but we can deselect some if we want to.
Without a piano, I would say.
Without a piano.
Without a synth.
Without a synth.
We want guitars and a bell, yes.
Yeah, a bell has to be there. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good setup. There. Maybe without the keyboard.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right.
What about the mood and the theme?
General, yeah. In general, we can see the acoustic there, the mood. We want it to be sad, right?
Yep.
Of course.
Could be restless as well.
Okay, so now you can see it added the
We're still making
filter
the love song.
into.
Yeah, but it can be restless.
Yeah, of course.
And we can add more if we want to. We're just gonna go with sad.
Yeah, restless sounds good. Yeah.
Right. There we can see, for example, that these are meant for YouTube videos. So we have photography and comedy and cooking and cinematic and workout and wellness, gaming, etc. We can leave it at that and listen to the examples.
Yeah. So now it has generated some options according to our filters. So let's hear number one. actually you can see the energy levels of each of the parts of the song. And yeah, it goes between low and medium all the time in this example. But let's go to the next one, for example, if there's any. Well, in a sad song, I don't think it's going to go any higher than medium. But yeah, let's hear second one. And you can delete certain parts of it as well. For example, if you want to get rid of the intro entirely.
How many examples it's made down there?
It made 15 for now. But then there's a prompt to create more.
But yes, it was very playful and kind of catchy. I didn't hate that.
I could easily see both of those, like short tracks in some kind of, for example, a YouTube commercial, or maybe like a travel vlog intro music or something like that.
Yeah, a My Day video for sure.
Yeah, definitely something like that.
For like a whole 3 or even 2 minute song, it's like repeats.
Yes, too repetitive.
Time after time, the same theme. So.
And if we think about that type of music being made by people before, so far or up to now, do you think AI could keep developing in such a way that it would make musicians in general irrelevant?
I don't think so. I mean, I guess part of the funness in music is that, it's human. Like we make mistakes, and sometimes when you record and hit the chord that shouldn't be there, but it ends up there, and it kind of creates this vibe which is not perfect. And for me, that's music. Exactly.
Yeah, and I think it really depends on the context, because, for example, if we are making music for a commercial, for example, then that's different, because you just want to have a certain soundscape to that. But if you want like a live performing artist, regardless of the genre, you kind of need the human input. You need the humans to be on stage and so forth.
Yeah.
So I think it really depends on that.
Yeah, and I have to say about the commercial, like exactly in marketing field, that's if we hire somebody to make that song, like I don't know how much time he would spend there, but now if we can just use that, so the cost for the marketing campaign, is so much lower, and it's so much faster to do. And we can, if we notice that for some reason this song isn't working well in this context, which can generate a second one and try to using that. So yeah.
But how about like vocals or something like, I've found this like, as I recently said, like Kurt Cobain sings Soundgarden or something like that. Can we put vocals on this, or is it like just the music? Just now we have lyrics and the music, but no singer. Or
right now it's just the music, and as we were saying in the beginning, AI cannot create vocal yet without giving it a reference. So you can actually go to, I don't know if we have the tab open, Voicify. You can choose SpongeBob to sing Avenged Sevenfold. And you click on SpongeBob, and then you put the YouTube link for the original song, and it makes you the vocal clone. But that's the limitation on vocals so far. If we go quickly to the presentation, I just wanted to mention this tweet by the Canadian artist Grimes, who offered her fans, I guess, to create her voice clone and use her voice for any of their music, as long as they give her 50% of the royalties, which I don't know. What do you think about that?
Interesting. Very interesting.
I think it's up to the artist. Yeah, that's their work. Like, I don't know. I don't really have a strong opinion on it.
It is their voice, right?
Yeah, it's like they use her voice, but she still gets the royalties. So, and if it's her own will, then it's fine.
Yeah, it reminds me. I think many have seen the Black Mirror, the latest season where they generated, actors and and you can see the show. But yeah, I think there's also, then there might be issues regarding like how they use your word, like for what context and for what purpose. So there's risks always.
What they make you say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. What can they make you say or do, essentially? And that is where AI also gets with the limitations of our society, because we are talking about copyright laws, personality laws, and also how is Grimes going to track the artists that are making music with her voice to cash in those 50% royalties, right? And now we should very quickly try to generate a cover. What should we tell the AI that it should look like?
Can I say a few words here? This was my trial prompt here. I'm using Midjourney as the AI to generate these covers, and my prompt here was Tuska Festival banner for the forum. As you can see here, it's not very good with words. So it said tuksima, tushika, tusa, tuukaktuma, and all of that. So it's not very good at words, but Midjourney is great with creating just art. I'm not sure what's so difficult for it to handle words, but yeah, that's how it is for now. It is constantly being updated and tested and all of that. So maybe someday it can generate a actual phrase.
So cover art for a country song single. That should look like.
Do we get the royalties? we've been like writing this song. So.
That is true. Yeah, that is very true.
Discuss that first, and then we can generate the image.
Yeah. And here the prompt would be cover art for a country song about love, and comma.
Dramatic.
Yes, dramatic, comma, sad. So that's where we kind of list out what kinds of qualities we want into the picture. Like we could say it's a painting, it's a piece of digital art, or realism, and all of those kind of genres, so to speak.
I think it has to be photorealistic.
Yeah.
Usually country albums are like the cover is just someone's face,
Yeah. And the cowboy.
Yeah.
Anything else? Just go with that.
Cowboy.
Yeah, cowboy.
Cowboy.
A horse.
Cowboy on a horse.
Okay.
Or a tractor.
Yeah, that's the US version of it.
And he or she is wearing this acoustic guitar while riding the horse.
Cowboy on a horse with a guitar. All right.
Well, the bot generates those. Do you think this is an opportunity? Right now, we were already speaking about royalties and how to cash them in, etc. Do you think this is an opportunity to change the way streaming services are paying the artists? The songs that are created by AI are already on Spotify. They are also cashing in, so it could be an occasion to start changing those systems as well.
Yeah, I think it's, if the artist gets some percent of the song versus that if you write the song and you publish the song, then you get all of the. But of course, then you can, with AI, you can generate more songs. So potentially you have could make more profit. But again, the competition will be higher. So it's hard to say how it will go.
Well, the thing is that there's no AI that just suddenly popped up and started making songs. There's some person behind the AI who gave the AI a command to make music. So there's some kind of intent behind the music.
Yeah.
So I think there's a reason that the person behind the AI music can be paid. If people really like to listen to it, it all comes down to taste. Maybe the person has some kind of artistic vision and the AI helps him to bring it into reality. And if the music is liked by some people and people listen to it, I think it's perfectly right for the person to get paid for the plays in streaming services.
Yeah, and could it provide like more artists in the world? Like if it's it's for someone it might be if they like to generate music this way, which is really different than sitting down with a guitar or whatever. Could it provide more artists in the future that generate music differently and focus on different things? So it might spark a whole other kind of genre of music or artists in the future. I don't know.
Right. Oh, there's a question in the audience. Yes.
So I think you already have a huge discovery problem in the digital marketplaces, and adding more AI generated or pseudo AI generated music or art there is not going to help. So, what's your thoughts on that part?
That's a good point. I'm gonna try to repeat the question so that we all can hear it and also the recording. We are currently facing a problem of discovering music in the streaming services, and the flood of AI-generated songs will make that even more difficult. So how can we make it better?
I don't think it's going to get better in the streaming services. I think a lot of younger bands are discovered by the bands being active, doing live shows, doing tours, promoting things either online or offline, meeting people, etc., etc. So there's still like real life communication. Well, maybe I'm talking from kind of like an old school perspective because I still buy albums and stuff like that. So pretty much everything I hear in the streaming services is something that I have discovered somewhere else. But I think that is still a thing, and it will be a thing in the future as well.
Yeah, and it's like when I start to listen to music, it's like someone has created, and I kind of personalize the music for like we are trying to be like recognizable with our music, but also how we look and how we meet people and so on. And we never like leave it to luck who finds us. We are always pushing ourselves to people to find us. So
yeah, and that is something the robots cannot do. Have a personal connection.
Maybe they can, but it's like, but not like people actually, but like. I don't know.
That's because robots lack heart and they lack a soul. Humans is what brings variety into music and art.
Yeah, that's all.
I agree with that.
AI is a useful tool for making difficult mathematical calculations, but when it comes to art and culture, we need to put our faith into humans because humans is exactly what brings variety, because they have heart, they have soul, and with them, they can process different kinds of emotion exactly at the same time, unlike the AI.
And
yes.
As we saw, like we made a love song, but it was like repeating the love word. When for example, if I do lyrics for our songs, I like to combine a different what's the word for like you say something with another. Yeah. So I like to find sometimes pretty unusual metaphors for our own songs.
That's something that I definitely agree with, because right now, for example, with the love song that we made with the AI, it feels like a mathematical equation that just uses words. It's like a pattern instead of something organic, I suppose.
Yeah. But that was like the AI program takes the commands way too literally.
Yeah, definitely.
Unlike humans who can understand that you don't have to take everything so damn literally.
Yeah. Technically, it might be possible to kind of give a prompt to the AI to use metaphors, but I'm pretty sure that the AI would use them in a very methodic and a very mathematical way as well. And maybe it would just add the exact word metaphor there or something like that.
AI doesn't experience things like people, so it doesn't have the experience in the texts. For now, at least.
Who knows what will happen in the future?
Yeah.
Exactly.
We have to remember that the AI also keeps
developing.
developing, so we don't know like for 5 years ahead what is going to happen.
Exactly. And this has just been developing in the last few years very, very fast. So I want to wrap things up because we ran out of time a moment ago. And Galvanizer still have a performance to put on. So I want to agree with the audience about believing still in humanity and not letting anybody make us fearful of the evil robots that are going to take our jobs. But also look at the tools, familiarize yourself with those, make your own opinion. And what is being projected now is the EU Commission Vice President asking the social media platforms to label the AI-generated content to avoid misinformation spread by deepfakes. And I think something like that will come to the arts at some point as well. And just like in the supermarket, we're going to have labels for organic music made by humans and music half or completely made by artificial intelligence. And I think that is an interesting prospect for the future. So thank you so very much for being here and for discussing with us. Thank you for your presence and for your participation. And now go and make the future of metal.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much, everyone.
I want to refer to something you said before we listened to the interview. You said there are people who are afraid that artificial intelligence will take away our jobs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think that having a job should be obsolete in the future, because I think we should have, I only know the German word.
Universal basic income.
Yeah. Because there is so much automation that people will definitely need to work less. Where's the point in being 40 hours at work just to be there 40 hours when the job can be done in 20 or 10 or whatever?
Yes.
So I think the whole working thing in general has to change. It'll be a kind of revolution for sure, but the more automations we have and the more technology can do, as you also said, it gives us more time to be creative or to be lazy or to do whatever we want. And I think that's basically a good thing.
Yes, to take care of ourselves. Honestly, is it just me? But sometimes it's just nice to, survive, stay alive. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I am also a big defender and proponent, I guess, of the universal basic income that you were just mentioning. And I do think that we should absolutely revolutionize and change the concept of work. Well, first of all, we have to accept and come to terms with the fact that the patriarchal capitalistic system we are living in is very exploitative of humans, less privileged humans, women, and other marginalized people around the world, especially the people living in poverty. Those are the ones who are most exploited in the only purpose of enriching the people who are already rich. When we come to terms with that, we also see how the professions that are most valued are the ones related to technological advancement and science, which is good, but humans also need art, and art needs to be valued just the same and needs to be paid just the same. The same goes for care work, which is done mostly by female identifying humans. And look at sex work. That is also work. It also needs to be protected by work laws, and it also needs to be respected.
Or look at all the cleaning jobs that are done by migrants or people with migrant background, mostly.
Yes, exactly. So there are a lot of professions that are just undervalued, underpaid. And the people doing these jobs are undermined, disrespected all the time, and are left out in the cold by
the system
and by governments. So yes, if artificial intelligence and technology is going to change the way we work and the way we see the work, and the value of a person should never be determined by how productive they are or how much they earn. We need to separate all of those, and we need to change the way we see all of those things.
And speaking about how we see things, another interesting thought came to my mind because here in Europe, and I think also in the USA, we have a lot of horror movies where robots are taking over the world or stand against human and stuff like that. So they're presented as the enemy. And when you look at, for example, Japan or some Asian countries, their robots are most of the time friends in the media, in movies and stuff like that.
In their pop culture, yeah.
Yeah, and they have a completely different view on the topic or on technology in general. They see it as a positive thing, and they just live with it and integrate it in their in everyday life. And I think that's also really interesting and shows us how media, how movies and stuff like that influence how we think.
Absolutely. And that's what I meant in the beginning too, with we get alarmed so much. Different media and people in power are trying to instill fear in us and tell us that it's bad and that we should stay away from that. And this seeps into seemingly good or well-intentioned media, like doing a digital detox is good. You should spend less time on the screen, and sell you that as if it were good. And I mean, sure, our eyes do need some rest from the screen. We do need the fresh air, etc. But if we also work, and nowadays most people work looking at a screen, and some people need to work more, and some people don't have the freedom of mobility, or their bodies have limitations that don't allow them to go out as much. Or, when your social life is behind a screen, you have other priorities, right? There's a million reasons why you need to, as you were saying, integrate technology more or less into your life. And you shouldn't feel guilty about it. You shouldn't feel guilty about spending your day gaming with friends online just because someone is telling you, but you need to digital detox.
Let me work less so I have the time to go for a walk every day.
Yes, absolutely.
But for the same salary, because I need it to pay the bills, actually. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yes, this is obviously a very important, in my opinion, very important analysis of the global implications geopolitically that artificial intelligence should have or could have. But in the panel, it was a little more practical. And in the beginning, we were very hopeful, like in the beginning of the preparation of the panel. We were very hopeful, and the idea was actually to have a complete product that we could, best case scenario, even release. Like release an AI-generated single after our Tuska panel. That would have been a dream.
Yeah,
but
awesome.
But of course, 45 minutes wasn't a lot of time for that. And as we were very happy to find out, the tools are not yet completely ready for that.
Like the lyrics, for example, where you said, okay, well, we have to change it. Please do it again with less dramatic or whatever.
Yeah, that took some time. And yeah, I mean, you can get an instrumental pop song for a YouTube video in a few minutes. That is true. And the artwork for it. But the way that we wanted to make it, maybe we were still thinking like too old school. But everything that we wanted to have wasn't as easy as fast. And yeah, the input of the audience was also super nice. And since you are only listening to this, I want to point out that the comment in the end, the person saying that we have to keep faith in humans because humans have soul, and that is where we connect with each other on an emotional level, and what makes music so beautiful and so important. And this beautifully wholesome comment that was so nice and spoke right from my heart came from an amazing metalhead who looked the meanest in that audience.
Like always.
They were wearing a full face of corpse paint and a long black coat full of metal band patches. And it was just so nice, you know, like the meanest looking person said the most wholesome comment, and I was like, yes. You're so right.
Definitely. You just said that the technology is only at the beginning of also knowing what we want when we say, please write us the lyrics and stuff like that. And you decided to do a pop song. So that also shows that the technology starts with the things that most people would want to do with it.
Yeah.
If you would have tried to do a metal song, it might have been even more complicated.
To be honest, we tried. We tried that in advance, the week before the panel. We actually found a tool online called Gen, DJEN. I will link all of these things in the description, of course. And it does give you riffs in different styles, and you can combine different elements, like change the drums a little bit. But that would have been way, way longer than 45 minutes. Yeah, and I was also very surprised that I was ready to do that, or we were ready to do that, and I was very surprised that that our panelists chose to make a country song. Yeah,
yeah, and that's also technology only does what we tell them. So if we teach technology bad things, they're gonna do bad things, and if we teach them good things, it's gonna do good things. And that's also the motto of Google, do no evil, or something in that direction. And and yes, Google is collecting data and all of that, but I think if they would really want to do something evil with that, they would have done already. So compared to what they might be able to do, they are very nice.
But if they were the good guys, and I'm saying good guys in a very gendered way, I know. But if they were the good guys, their tools wouldn't be so fucking difficult and confusing. I fucking hate Google products. I'm sorry. But true. Yes. Yeah. And that is the thing. All of these are tools, and tools are not creators. Tools are, well, tools. Things with which you make something. They're not the product itself, and they are not the maker either. It was also very refreshing to see the the two different approaches from the bands. We had Galvanizer, whose Spotify description, which I read in their introduction, already says they have kind of like this old school attitude. And then we had Slash the Smile. They are very, very young, a very young upcoming band, and they are like, trying everything out and bringing something new to the table. Those were also different perspectives that I was very happy to hear from, to see also how they work with their music, and and how they would use these new tools at their disposal.
It's like with every other technology that it will kind of naturally integrate itself into the process somehow. Like the internet has been a revolution when it started. And I'm pretty sure that some people were also very afraid of what you can do with that. I remember I was in school and the teachers always said, well, you can't use the internet as a source for knowledge because you don't know who put it up there and if it's true what's said there. And that's also something that changed. Well, of course, you shouldn't just copy paste Wikipedia, but you can use the sources that they used in Wikipedia articles. It's a great tool to inform yourself in general. So as a first step, information. And there are also studies and everything on there that you can use and that are valid sources for the knowledge.
Yes, that's true. And that is something that a lot of people are using. That's an argument that people are using to dispel all of these fears that are being talked about around the topic of artificial intelligence. Every new technology first is feared because it's new, because we don't know it, because we don't know how to use it, because we don't know what consequences it's going to bring. But in the case of artificial intelligence right now, it is developing at an enormous speed, and it would be really irresponsible for us not to talk about it, for us not to
try it,
learn about it, and even experiment and use it.
Yeah.
And in the case of metal and metalheads, I do think it's good that we start looking into it and using it, because all other genres are. We should not stay stubborn and keep our old school approach and say, no, I will never use this, because everybody else will, and we don't want hip hop to win. No. Hot take. We don't want hip hop to win the music race. What?
And again, you are not forced to use it in the end. So just try it out, see if it can help you, see if it helps you write better lyrics. If not, put it away. See if it helps you writing better songs, better drum lines, whatever. And if not, then, well, you tried it and maybe it doesn't help you, maybe it does. It will never kill all the bands who do it in a very old school way. It's just an addition like everything else.
And what I said in the end of the panel, I think, is also important. It's not an idea that I had, it's an idea that I heard from other people who have more experience. Specifically, this one came from the This Old Marketing podcast. They were also discussing artificial intelligence in content creation, and they were hypothesizing that at some point art, texts, music, just like we have the stickers at the supermarket differentiating normally cultivated vegetables from organically cultivated vegetables, we will have those same different categories or that kind of sticker on our CDs or on the internet. We will have like a little sign saying this is completely created by humans, this was created with the support of AI, this was created completely by machines. And then we will, I don't know, maybe things will have different values and different prices. Maybe things will have a different social value. Maybe we will appreciate art created solely by humans more. Maybe we will appreciate the fact that people are taking the artificial intelligence to help their processes creatively. That is something that we have to have a lookout on. One thing that I would have wanted to talk a little bit more about in the panel with the bands is the system of streaming payouts. It's a discussion that we've been having for a while on the podcast. The way or the differences between how Spotify pays their artists, how Apple Music and Tidal and YouTube Music and all of the streaming platforms have different payout models. I don't know how it is in the other platforms, but I know that Spotify pays out the most to the artists that are played the most, which means what we were just saying, right? Mainstream artists have the highest paychecks, while underground artists don't. And that is a quote back to many of the interviews we have had before. I don't remember if it was Serenity who said, Georg from Serenity, who said that a few years ago, their Spotify payout would maybe pay a pizza for the whole band.
Yeah.
And per year, that is. So there are movements trying to change that. And I saw a very interesting model of a payout model that is being proposed now to Spotify. The idea is that my subscription, the money I pay to the platform, gets divided amongst the artists that I listen to.
That means when you listen to less music, the artists you listen to get more money also. If I only listen to 3 bands and each band the same amount of time, they will get €3 each. Like,
Yeah,
for example.
from my subscription. Exactly. And I'm one fan.
Yeah.
I know that would be a little more complicated, and it should still be, analyzed. But if I am paying for a subscription and listening only to metal, but country artists are getting parts from my money, that is not exactly fair. So,
True.
Or that is less fair.
Side note on that, many artists have a donation button on Spotify, and you can use that to give or to donate money directly to them. I did that several times, and you pay that to their PayPal account, so it'll go to them. Spotify won't take any money away from that. That's a good option if you say, well, I specifically want to support an artist because I really enjoy the album. I would have paid €15 for the album if I would buy it, so I donate this €15 directly to the band. That's a good thing.
Yeah, and that is, of course, getting a little further away from the topic. There is always better ways to support your artists. There is always Patreon. There's always merch purchases. Some bands also are active on Twitch and get money from there. My point was, if artificial intelligence is already changing the music industry, and it also has an influence on streaming platform payouts, because there's a lot of artificially generated music on there already. All of these, I don't know, I saw numbers on a platform that disappeared the next day. I wanted to look them up, but they were absurd. They were thousands of songs created daily and going straight to Spotify. And it's the type of thing that, I don't know, music for while reading, music to listen to while reading, some sort of atmospheric, low attention span. It doesn't distract you. It's just nice to listen to some, I don't know, a few notes on a harp with some rain sounds or something off the top of my head.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But those are being played on loop maybe for hours, and those the people, yes, there is a person generating these through the AIs, but still, they are cashing out on those.
Mm-hmm.
So while it takes them, 3 clicks maybe to generate an album, and up to other artists, it's 3 years of work. So it's just my plea to everybody listening to think about it. Get involved if you want to look out for these movements who are trying to change the way the platforms pay their artists. If you want to go further, look into the universal basic income and support that movement as well. I don't know. It's always about, for me, it's always about making conscious, informed decisions. And for that, we need to learn about all of this stuff that's changing the world as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mic drop.
That's it, I think. Thank you for listening.
Okay. We will go now. We will see you soon. That was the last of the recordings from Friday, June 30th. That was the first day of the Tuska Forum by Bleeding Metal this year at Tuska Festival in Helsinki. Listen to the others, don't forget. And next up, we will have our very weirdly entertaining interview with Turmion Kätilöt. And afterwards, our moving personal interview with Marko Hietala. So stay tuned next month.
Thank you for listening
to the Bleeding Metal podcast.
Goodbye.